Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now, this is the general reading for Leo for May. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever. And if you're not familiar with your chart, as ever, there is a link in the description down below. Now, I've lost your shuffle video. The computer just crashed. So there's no shuffle video up here at the moment. So I'll get through my waffle as quickly as possible. There is a link also down there to the Facebook page for this channel. I post these, and I also post the astrology weather report videos that I watch. So I try to make it a bit of a one-stop shop. So, as a general reading rules apply. It's not a take what resonates, it's a take the whole lot or don't. There is a past and a present in the spread. And if the past and the present make no sense, then ignore it. Go and watch your moon, go and watch your rising, see if that's more appropriate for you. These readings are targeted for whoever they're targeted for, but it might not necessarily be you. However, one way to tell, ask a question prior to the reading. Pause the video if you have to. Take a moment, think about all of the questions that are around you, and focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them because the cards will answer what they want and not necessarily, well, they don't have the same sense of priority that we do. Now, going back to that Facebook link, if you want to approach me for a personal reading or private reading, however you want to call it, then that's the best way to do it because it's got its own inbox. However, there's also a Linktree link down there so you can get my email. But trust me, Facebook is the best way to get to me. Emails can be a bit buried because I am subscribed to way too many newsletters, which is my own fault. Now, is there anything else that I need to say? Yeah, so general reading rules, timing's not absolute. If someone else turns up in the reading, I can get you and them mixed up because I see actions and energies, not necessarily people, but that doesn't tend to happen a lot. At least I don't think it happens a lot. So let me know if ever it does. As ever, you're welcome to comment down below. Obviously, smash that like button while you're here, as Philly D would say. And showing how much I'm a YouTube person there, aren't I? Let's go straight into the cards. So, the one message that I'm getting from here, Leo, is now's the time to act on your dream. We've got the Ace of Cups right at the centre. With the Knight of Swords underneath it, showing to me that there is some form of, I don't want to say urgency as in to get it done, but urgency to get it started, because you've been waiting a long time. And I think that you've maybe felt a little hamstrung recently because what you are wanting to achieve is, well, it's not the done thing, really, is it? It's not the way we do things. That's the distinct impression I'm getting from this Heavenly Mastercard. However, the other impression I'm getting from it is that you're doing it for the best of reasons. You have recently seen the value of what it was that you intend to do, and then it's right, how am I going to do it? And then all of a sudden the confusion hits, the delays hit, and now it's more recently, the delays may have appeared to vanish, but as you soon go to try things, there's this natural resistance of, yes, but it's not done that way. We don't do it like that. Well, they might not do it like that, but they're not the ones doing it. You are. So you do it however way you want to. I hope this makes sense to you because it's really coming. Because your readings recently, Leo, you've had an eventful time, let's put it that way, and quite a challenging time. And here is an opportunity for you to step out of it. I'm not saying that all those other challenges that came up in all the other readings are going to necessarily disappear. I'm saying that you're going to shift your focus, have the ability to shift your focus, have the motivation with Celia here to shift your focus, and that in and of itself is a healing experience. So rather than being smack bang in all the arguments, the crises, the this, the that, the other, the stresses and the relationship conflicts, little r, that you've been having recently, problems with family, problems with work, problems with whatever, where there has been lots of personality clashes. You can go, yeah, well, you can clash all you want. I'm doing this now. And because the opportunity appears to be here. And you know how much oh, yes. So we have the Empress. So you're feeling like you can produce that harvest. You are feeling abundant. You are feeling like what I am going to do will produce results. And that's the important thing. I'm not saying that you're feeling abundant as in you have loads of abundance around you. No. It's this sense of potential, not that I have received the bounty of the Empress, but I am the Empress. I will create that bounty. I will create that abundance, because I am using this to define my power. I've done the studying. I've done the skills. I've worked all the ins and outs, and now I have that final piece of information that I've been after. And Knight of Arrows here, you're aware that now's the time. Now is the opportunity. So yeah, I don't know. I can't see necessarily anything that's saying if you miss this opportunity, that's it. But the urgency of the message that is coming through sort of implies that if you don't do it now, you're going to have a hell of a lot more obstacles with whatever it is that you're wanting to create, because you are Ace of Cups again. You are Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups, Six of Arrows. So you're using this dream to get yourself to a better place, and you are presenting this dream to others. I really like that. Certainly with the Queen of Cups, there's that nurturing a dream element, because queens tend to nurture, not all of them, but Queen of Cups is able to apply, at least in this reading, this is how I'm feeling about it, is able to apply a dream in a practical way, and opens themselves up by doing that to blessings, whatever that means. And we have divine blessings right here with Cahatel from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell. And as I say, that by concentrating on this and removing yourself from whatever the argy-bargy was previously, this is a healing experience, as we have Imhotep here. And it's not that this dream has just suddenly appeared to you. You've been wanting to get on with this for quite some time, and you've been blocked. There was delays, there was confusion. Even though you could see the value in what it was that you were wanting to do, you're maybe not able to translate that to others quite the way that you wanted to. But we have from the Angelarium, Netzach, endurance, stick at it. But now is the right time to crack on with it, and crack on with it in a public way. A queen is a public person. She sits on a throne. She's there for the entire royal court and possibly the entire nation to see. And quite a lot of cards jumped out of this work your light. So yes, it's all saying the same message. So soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. By starting what you do, you will find the people who will align with you in this. And I do want to say, not just align with you, they've been wanting to do the same thing. And you, with that Ace of Cups and Queen of Cups, you are the inspiration by you starting, for them to start. And they will either start doing the same thing for themselves, which is not competition, unless, of course, you're starting your own business. But I'm not seeing that this idea is anything, it doesn't feel businessy. And even if it does, say you were in a community. So, okay, let's use this idea of starting your own business. You're in a community in one town. You have limited resources to provide that service. However, someone else is inspired in another town by seeing what you do, and they then do the same thing, which guarantees more customers for them, obviously, but more customers to you because it is normalizing this thing that you've got to offer. As I said, the blockage that you've had is we don't do it that way. But by you going ahead and doing it, other people will start doing it, and that normalizes it, which is only in your interest and in your benefit here. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Yeah, well, crack on with that dream already. And in a temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. That this dream that's got you also inspired. And I would say to a great extent, you are loved up with this dream. You know, Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups. But underlying this issue, what's the need? A need for transformation, a need to act now, and a need to really make a choice if you're going to do it or not. So yes, there is that urgency of do it now or forever hold your peace. Now, you are going to have resistance to what it is that you're doing. Of course you are. It's not the way we do things. We have 3 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and Ace of Stones here. That resistance, that conflict of wills, clash of wills, I suppose. Somebody is against what you're doing, and you have to stand up to them. And you can be defensive, but you can also do it in such a manner that you attract the attention of, 1, your peers, and 2, just everybody, so that they're interested in what you're doing. Because, yeah, opinions will probably be divided with this sort of energies that are going on here. So what? If 50% of people are against what you're doing and 50% of people are for what you're doing, that means you have 50% of people on your side. That's enough. That's more than enough. Governments are formed on less. So you use that opportunity. So it's almost like someone is against what you're doing, and you make it public of, hang on a minute, why is this a bad idea? Whereas I can see it's a good idea for this, this, and this reason. And you get that debate going. And again, there's that sense of normalizing what it is that you are trying to achieve to make it socially acceptable. I mean, I suppose you could compare that to this is the shape that I'm sort of seeing it. Say if you look at the struggle to legalize marijuana in the States, yeah, it hasn't hit over here yet, but we've seen over the past 10 year, maybe 15, but more like 10 year, that shift as it's become legal for medical use and recreational use in more and more and more states. That's that process of normalization. That's that process of, it might not have been the way that we do things, because it certainly wasn't the way that America did things in the 50s, because there, to all accounts, marijuana would turn you into a raging, rampaging murderer, and commie spy, of course. So attitudes shift, which by that very point implies to me that whatever you are doing can be considered, although I am getting the sense this is maybe over-egging the pudding a little bit, but it can be considered cutting edge, or at least that cutting edge is within eyesight. You can actually see it there in the future at some point. And it does a good foundation for you. But This dream that you've got, it's in the dream phases now. But with that Queen of Cups, like I say, you've got to make it practical, because there is a danger that once you're starting the doing, and especially once you're in the public eye, whatever that means, you know, whether this is just within a small group of friends or within the family or within a community or on the national stage or whatever, you know, within the office, you've got to maintain a sense of balance, because one step at a time. Two of Pentacles, Two of Stones. So, Two of Pentacles. All in the same pile here. So this is, once the debate and the clash of wills starts, baby steps. And there's also that sense of, it's not the right phrase quite, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take what gains that you can and allow the gains that you aren't able to get, allow them the space to arrive when they need to. Queen of the Moon Oracle here. Realization. The realization of this plan that you've been working on for quite some time, but you must, what I was saying with balance, we've got the guardian angel of maturity. As I take responsibility, I also develop my strength. This is all about that balance in this pile here. And interestingly, that was an interesting thing, right? This is a sense of astrology, but you'll see how my mind works. From here to here, right? Consider this pile to be Earth, this pile to be one planet on the chart, that pile to be another planet on the chart. They're at a quincunx. They're at about 150 degrees. So the realization of what you are trying to achieve doesn't entirely understand the maturity required to achieve it. There's, so like I say, take those baby steps. It's rare that I actually see aspects between the cards like that, but it just suddenly, like, went neon at me. So once you've started that debate and once you are moving on and working on with stuff, just be aware that as much as your passion, your motivation, Celia here again, or Cialia, probably, once that starts, it's a useful force. It will keep you going, but it can also trip you up, because you could get to a point where you're trying to achieve too much, too soon, too quickly. Right, let's see how other people have it. Yeah, so other people's influence, Six of Cups. It's not the way that we do things, is it? Let's do it the old way. But, nah. No. Like I say, there are people they're blind to what you're trying to accomplish, and they are wanting to have things done the old way. And I don't think that necessarily you can do that anymore. So, the Guardian card here from the Wildwood Tarot is basically the Devil card. And normally, for some, because it's not called the Devil card, I don't tend to clarify it with my Demon Possessed Tarot, but I want to this time, because I feel like there's passions on both sides here. Just as much as someone is opposed to what you are doing, there's another person who is really, really supporting. So beware of overzealous followers or overzealous helpers or overzealous assistants, because just as much as you can fall into that trap, so can they. Right, what have we got? We've got Ace of Wands. Yes, everybody gets very, very het up about this. Good. This is one thing that I feel about all of this. Whether you're right or you're wrong, Leo, it doesn't matter. This debate wants to be had. And I personally think that what you are wanting to offer and put forward is a good thing. But it may take some people quite a bit of time to realize that it's a good thing. Because I know I get the impression that your fear is that this is a bit pointless, really. This, that, yeah, is it really going to take me to a better place, or am I just sat contemplating my navel? Six of Swords. But it's Tarot of the Ramesses, so I'm going by the picture more than the card meaning. Um, because when all said and done, that's somebody who they've had their time, they don't quite know whether they're going to get to that better place or not, and they're looking for, this is me, a tarot reader, saying this, but they're looking for all the signs and portents on the hope that they'll get to this better place, and they're still sat on their backside, not really doing a great deal, and their clothes are tatty, and they could do with cutting their fingernails. It's just this disheveled, a lack of presentation, and that's the fear that it's not going to be presented well, it's not going to get you to that better place, that it's just going to be a lot of hot air. And there, I do think there's an element that you might be okay with that, but what is it going to bring? Well, personally, I think it's going to bring quite a bit of stability. Now look here, Five of Coins, these are the alternate future or potential future piles. Five of Coins, well, in this deck, looking very lucky. Remember, the Five of Coins can represent the guidance, that is the light that's shining out of the church window. It can represent the shelter, i.e. nip round the corner and you get in the door and you're in the warm out of the rain. But here with the lucky coins, and also number of 5, this could be a magical thing for you, especially when clarified by Six of Wands, which is showing victory, obviously, Six of Wands, bringing people to your cause. But also, it's just somebody using a lever to get water out of the Nile, making the whole process a lot easier. So with the Nine of Stones, which looks like a shaman having a transcendental experience, I'm feeling that, okay, remember what I was saying about overzealous followers. If you've got somebody helping you with this, you do the bulk and you remain in charge. I mean, you're a Leo, you like remaining in charge anyway, but you remain in charge, you be the main driving force. As I say, beware overzealous followers. But also, I'm not saying that you need to take on a massive workload, but if you are moving all the pieces, you know where all the pieces are moving, and that's something that you will need to know. But that is a very, very hopeful pile, because when all said and done, you think about the lady in the garden on the Rider-Waite deck, she's secure. I mean, she's fine on her own. Absolutely fine. So yes, it's a solitary card, but she's in the garden and she's happy, and she's got the communication with the outside world by that very bird that sits on her fingers. And then we have Five of Staves, which to me I'm seeing here as recognition, because if you notice, that's not 5 people fighting like you have in the Rider-Waite deck. This is 5 wise men debating a point, whatever that point may be. But again, clarified with the Sun, so happy, happy, joy, joy card. And the King of Stones, King of Pentacles. The grounded person who achieves things, makes material changes, and is basically all that. You know, there's... so if you start now, yeah, you've got a fight on your hands. Absolutely, you've got a fight on your hands. So what? Seriously, so what? Doesn't matter. Just crack on with it. Because Like I say, 50% for you, 50% against you. That means you've still got 50% of people stood with you. So that's a good proportion. Um, and you're very much carving out your own role. Magician here, Emperor on the bottom of the second deck, the Ramses deck. Seven of Staves, I like to see that as, yeah, it can be being defensive, which no wonder. But I also like to see the Seven of Staves as meeting with your equals and being maybe a little bit nervous about it, but meeting with your peers. Thing is, here, you are creating your peers. And the other thing with this particular Seven of Staves is the idea of preparation, getting everything in place ready for the right moment. Now, the Prince, the adversary. I meant to look this up beforehand, but the computer crashing distracted me because this is the Mausolea Oracle. And now I think, if I remember correctly, this is a character that wanders around this fictional afterlife who was so filled up with anger that he completely forgot who he was and what he's doing. And he's just wandering around. And there's two things in that. One, that's partly what you're facing. But two, you have to risk that you do not become that. You know, he who fights monsters. Because where that thought of bringing whatever it is into being, and like I say, baby steps, but doesn't understand that you can't do it like that. You know, there's right. Let's have a look. The Prince. They're in no particular order in this book at all. Would really be helpful if they had numbers. Certainly for moments like this, and I'm just waffling to make sure there is no dead air, and of course I can't find it. Do please talk amongst yourselves. Here we are. The shattered remains of a once great devil who fought against the rulers of Urkala, this particular fictional afterlife, and lost badly. An empty but still fearsome shell, his very presence as he wanders the borders of the realm serves to chase away the constant encroachers from the outer darkness who were once his allies. Although he himself has no memory, the Prince reminds us that to dwell in disgrace, sorrow and loss has an impact in the world around us. Sometimes unlooked for benefits and sometimes ironic self-sabotage. Right, so if you're trying to put something right by what you're doing, on a personal level, you know, not just I'm righting a wrong in society, but a sort of I did this and I need to set this right. I feel that might be a misguided aim. I see nothing wrong in what you're trying to do. But if you're trying to do it to make recompense for something you've done in the past, don't worry about it. Because that thing in the past is done now. And what you are trying to achieve, I believe, from what I see here, is a good thing. So do it because it's a good thing, not because it's balancing some imaginary scales. Those scales, if they were tipped in the wrong direction years ago, you look back from this point in space-time to that point, and over there they are still tipped in the wrong direction, and that won't change using the sort of block space-time model. However, having attachment to the I must set this right, again, could drive that sort of zealotry I was warning about. But why not just do this? Because it's a really good idea. And it will have a lot of benefits for a lot of people. Why not do that? And let go of all the hang-ups. Because if you've got, like I say, your soul family coming to join you, if you're worried about setting scales right and all of that sort of thing, you're not going to have time for them. You're not going to want to pay attention to them in the slightest. And I think they're worth paying attention to. Right. Is that no, the final outcome pile? I'm feeling very showbiz today, can you tell? So we have Seven of Coins, Page of Coins, King of Cups, Nine of Wands, Seven of Arrows. Right. Okay. There is still an element of insecurity that will constantly be there with what you're trying to achieve, because bear in mind that 50% of people here are against you. So but if you put the work in, you are leveling up and you are solving some of those, whatever healing, that whatever concentrating on this. I mean, people are talking this new moon is a lot of the astrologers are talking about how much it's about Lilith and how much we can distract ourselves from things rather than listening to those emotions. Absolutely. Take all of that advice, listen to the emotions and work through them. But that's not why you're doing this. They're two different things. Setting the scales right from all those years ago and what you're doing here are two different things. If you still feel bad about whatever that was, then work through it. Deal with it. It's got nothing to do with what you're doing now. What you're doing now, you're doing because it's a good thing to do. End of story. And that I think you'll be good at it and be able to affect change with it. And you're very, very nearly there. But I do think there is that constant sense of always being very, very nearly there once you get it going. But once that debate starts and the conflict starts, that's a good sign. Do not get demoralized. Yeah, because in the past, you've had, you've had times of wish fulfillment in the past, and you've had times of, well, where do I go from here? And almost being spoilt for choice. And all that ended up with, oh, look, another devil card. All that ended up with was, it was something that you threw yourself into in the past. And then by the end of it, you were overwhelmed and quite possibly, looking at those cards, he was quite successful at it. But afterwards, there was this sense of, what was the point? I don't believe in it anymore. I don't value it anymore. And there's that fear that that's going to occur this time. Honestly, Leo, so what if it does? This is about what you are doing now, what you are doing for the rest of the year, or for the next few years. It's not by any way means what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. It is, this is my life's purpose this week. And that could be this week, this month, this year. But 4 years down the line, you may have a completely different life purpose because you'll have accomplished this one, and why do the same thing over and over again? But right now, it is worth putting the work in. Right, that's everything that I'm seeing there. And you can see why my apologies for there being no shuffle video, but blooming computer. So if this means anything to you, Leo, comment down below. Please smash that like button while you're here, and feel free to subscribe. Thank you to all my returning subscribers. Well, thank you for everyone who has subscribed so far. I'm still after that first magic number of YouTube, so all help appreciated. And yeah, it's not that you're getting relief from the other things that was going on, Leo. It's that you are creating relief for yourself. That's the important thing about going and doing it. So get out there, grab your opportunities with both hands. Cheers.